This is you. You're an average Ethiopian farmer. That means you're just as likely to be a woman. You have 6 children and 8 other relatives living on your land. Your farm is less than 1 hectare in size. Most years, you barely grow enough to feed your family. When the droughts come, you may not. When the rains come on time, you might actually grow more, a little something extra to sell in the local market. You're an average Ethiopian farmer, one of 13 million. Ethiopia's 13 million smallholder farmers make up more than 90% of the country's agriculture sector, a sector that accounts for almost 45% of the Ethiopian economy, an economy that has grown by an average of nearly 11% per year since 2004, one of the highest rates in the world, helping poverty levels to drop from over 55% of the population down to almost 29%. And yet, crop yields from Ethiopia's smallholders remain stubbornly low, low yields that contribute to a national per capita income of just $370 per year. Still, the government's long-term target is clear: reach middle-income country status by 2025.
It started with a meeting between Melinda Gates and the late Prime Minister Meles, when he asked if the foundation can come in and take an objective look at the agricultural system.
In that process, I think they have come to see best practices in Taiwan, Malaysia, and also in Korea, who have made the transformation possible in agricultural sector.
In all those instances, we found there was usually an organization, a government agency of some type that helped to lead and catalyze change.
What is the ATA? It's a whole new, innovative kind of government organization, exclusively focused on smallholder farmers. One that reports to a transformation council chaired by the Prime Minister himself. It's a unique organization, bringing together agricultural scientists and business experts from around Ethiopia and across the world to partner with the country's Ministry of Agriculture in an aggressive, focused effort to literally transform the way agriculture is practiced throughout Ethiopia. And their intention is to institutionalize and build on the government's recent agricultural progress and achieve significant, measurable results and impact within just an initial 5-year time frame.
We act as a problem-solving organization. We have a very strong analytical team that is looking across the entire agricultural sector, but focusing on certain priority program areas to understand the systemic bottlenecks within them.
The programs that the ATA and the Ministry of Agriculture are undertaking fall into 3 main areas: overhauling basic agricultural systems like seeds, soils, and research and extension, increasing smallholder farmer productivity and production in key crop value chains such as teff, wheat, maize, and barley, and special cross-cutting initiatives, including gender equality, environmental sustainability, and access to new technologies. At the same time, the ATA is working with the Ministry of Agriculture, Ethiopia's regional agriculture bureaus, and other partners to integrate the solutions identified in these program areas, helping to implement a series of closely linked interventions within targeted, high-potential geographies around the country.
ATA has a big potential to actually change the smallholder farmer's life, increase their incomes, and increase their productivity.
The first thing that we do within the ATA is to sit with stakeholders and identify the bottlenecks that are constraining development. And once those problems are identified, again in collaboration with the stakeholders, we identify the solutions.
In partnership with the Ministry of Agriculture, one of the ATA's earliest flagship programs has already started to show results, focusing on teff, a unique grain indigenous to Ethiopia and a fundamental part of the national diet and culture.
Teff is considered one of the oldest crops in Ethiopia. We consider it to be as old as the Ethiopians themselves because we don't even know when it was domesticated, maybe 5,000 to 8,000 years ago.
For thousands of years, Ethiopia's teff farmers have simply scattered their seed by hand. But last year, working with the country's agricultural extension system, the ATA's teff team and the Debrecen Research Center began introducing a host of more modern agronomic practices to Ethiopia's teff farmers.
Planting in rows instead of broadcasting, reducing the seed rate, placing the seed in the soil, not on the soil, and placing the fertilizer below the seed. With these simple techniques, Ethiopian farmers have been able to at least double their productivity.
In addition to strengthening agronomic practices throughout the country, the ATA and Ministry of Agriculture are simultaneously working to connect smallholder farmers to commercial buyers, paving the way for them to take a step forward from mere subsistence farming to real economic growth and prosperity.
The United Nations WFP project is a great example. The World Food Programme helps feed millions of people across the world, including here in Ethiopia. However, much of the food they supply is either imported or sourced from commercial traders, primarily because of economic necessity. But if we could find a way to change those economics, to strengthen the cooperatives so that they could compete with traders, then the benefits of the food program would increase exponentially.
The ATA is trying, along with WFP, bringing all these pieces together so that the smallholder farmers can have access to seeds, to fertilizer, to loan.
Instead of just helping the hungry, you are creating a new market for struggling local farmers, which in turn helps to stimulate the entire economy.
When I think of transformation and what success looks like, I think there are probably three different components. First is that all of Ethiopia's 13 million smallholder farmers are growing sufficient amounts of healthy, nutritious foods that will feed their families.
There is a clear hope in the future that our smallholder farmers will be transformed and will be commercialized, and the agriculture sector will be modernized.
Second, that these rural communities afford these farmers and their families opportunities for economic gain and employment beyond smallholder farming.
We have already started, and so far we have progressed a lot.
And finally, that we're able to change the perception of Ethiopia around the world from one that in the past has been dominated by poverty, by drought, by famine, to one that more closely resembles the image of India, of China, and Brazil today.
Our contribution, if at all, will be more on trying to build capacities, on trying to make sure that whatever others do, they do it in a way that is sustainable, in a way that they can continue doing themselves.
I think the future of what that institution is doing is very bright. I mean, if you extrapolate, the brilliant results that have been achieved in the past 2 years or so into the future, I'm very optimistic.
You're an average Ethiopian farmer, which means you probably still haven't even heard of the ATA. In fact, you may never really know much about all of the work that the ATA, the Ministry of Agriculture, and their partners are doing. But in the years to come, if all goes right, you and your children, your family, you'll feel it.